Know your fucking place, trash!
Hey everybody, this is Atticus the Death Metaler, and for this video we're gonna do something a little bit different, unlike what you saw in the Big Mad, which was a big fucking doozy of a mad. So aside from the fact that the world is on fire, mainly in America, I thought I would do a little bit of a fun video, basically just a little bit of a countdown video. So I take inspiration of this over onto my good friend Damien Skyfire's video that he made a while back, which was, you know, the top 5 annoying things he's experienced while working into fast food. Now, all of you guys who've worked in fast food, you can understand. It was a bit of catharsis for my boy Damo. But then my other 2 friends, Steve Trowbridge and Zach Celtics Guy, made their own videos on the subject when it came to Steve Trowbridge's work, as well as Zach's line of work, but also Zach did another top 10 video of just the annoying people while under the wheel driving and stuff. And so, after watching all 3 of those videos, I thought to myself, I might as well talk about my experiences pre-COVID-19 when I worked at a hotel, before all this shit went down. And I thought this would be a really good video to make, aside from this whole shit going on, that like, yeah, I do some stuff outside of YouTube and I work and stuff. I'm not some dude that just sits on his ass all day and is a loser, just makes videos and stuff to get attention and stuff. I'm not that kind of guy. No, that's not it. But aside from all that, let us begin. Now, for the rules that apply onto this video, 3 of my friends made their videos on just a collage of all the stuff that annoyed them. But for me, I decided that I had to put the lower tier from all the way down to 10 to the less things that have annoyed me while working at my job, all the way up to number 1. If those of you who do not know what I did prior to the global COVID-19 pandemic, I was part of the setup crew at this one hotel that is pretty much 5 minutes away from where I live. So very convenient, but also like, you know, a pretty good job for me just to get out of like this shitty rock bottom situation that I was in mental wise and stuff. Because I was not in a very good place mentally. But this was basically my a job for me to get back on my feet and be like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this stuff, but oh boy, oh fucking boy, there was some stuff. Oh god. I mean, there was some stuff that really I just had to power through and stuff. Let me just say that. But it was a job and I dealt with it as much along with the other jobs that I had. But for this video, I'm specifically talking about my experiences working at a hotel. So without further ado, let us begin the countdown. Family friends who stumble upon me while I am working. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a guy that loves to see some old faces that I have not seen in a long time, as well as just the usual family friends that I see once here in a while, neighbors, close family friends, all that stuff. I have no problems whatsoever getting to see some of my neighbors or family friends while I'm at work. I mean, most of all the people that my family knows are members at the hotel that I work at, whether they're working out at the gym, doing the spa, swimming at the pool, going out there to surf out on the beach because the hotel is like close to the beach, or just wanting to do some random stuff like getting a room at the hotel for them just to lay low, not like a suspicious lay low, but just like get out of their personal lives. But also some of my neighbors have used the conference center to basically use some of the offices where my department sets up all the meetings and stuff so they can do a virtual private meeting. One of my next door neighbors did that. This is the lowest tier thing on what annoys me at work. is where I see some family friends when they're mostly just setting up for the events that I'm setting up, and then they stumble upon me, and, well, I'm just gonna use me as an example on their reaction. Yeah, that's pretty much their reaction when they see me. Not like that kind of crazy, but you kind of get the gist. It's like, I mean, they haven't seen me in a while, so they do flip out. And here I am with just a stack of chairs, completely frozen, and just like, oh, fuck. And it, like, don't get me wrong, all these people I do like, but when they freak out like that, it kind of just makes me like, see, like, a lot of people see me, and I'm just like, in my head going, I don't know these people. I don't know these people. That's the whole gist of what I'm trying to say over here. It's like, wow, I haven't seen you guys in a while, but this isn't the right time or place to do, you know, catch up, because I'm working at this moment. An event that you are coordinating. I am setting up that event for you. So, when I have some time off, when I have a break, we'll catch up for the next 30 minutes. I'll skip a lunch break just so that we can catch up. That's like all that I'm asking, but it's just like, I've encountered it like 3, 4, 5 times during my time working there, and it's just, oh God, it's something. It is something. Waking up at the crack of dawn. Now, I would have put this a little bit higher on the list, but I feel like that I just want to put this, you know, as number 9. Because, I mean, when it comes to these types of shifts, I mean, I dread them, but at the same time, they go by like that. So it's really weird, and it's very quick. Because it's like, when it comes to like very super early shifts, it's like from 5 a.m. all the way over to 2 a.m. and it just goes by like that. Especially when it comes to like the winter hours and stuff. Because like, I mean, longer nights, shorter days. And so it's like a little bit quick onto that. But every time when I see next week's schedule and I look over and I see that I have to do 5 a.m., I just go, no! Like, that's pretty much me. Because, I mean, I do, you know, before the pandemic started, I mean, this job was making me work pretty hard. And seeing me have to wake up at, like, 3:50 in the morning just so I can shower, make a short breakfast as, you know, quietly as possible, and then drive to work. Now, don't get me wrong, like, the hotel is like 5 minutes away from where I live. But it's like trying to get myself up is one of the big challenges. Because like, I do work hard. I do work hard. I mean, I worked hard at that job. And like, me trying to basically just get my ass up, especially with like the line of physical work that I do, it's like, oh fuck, here we go. And that is like a chore in itself. But I often, when I drive over there, I just put on like this one particular track from Blade Runner 2049 just to get me through this. And what really sucks is that like when it's an early morning shift, I'm still trying to wake up. My brain is just like still slowly trying to wake up, so it's just like I just came right out of the bed. I'm not as energized. It's just I am still trying to wake up, and that is what I hated about working the early morning shifts. But at the same time, it's just like a blessing and a curse, because then they would be gone like that, and then I would come back home and then just plop right back to bed. And it was just like, oh my God. So it was like a love-hate relationship. It was basically like a toxic relationship for me when it came to early morning shifts. event planners, when they screw up their lists. Don't get me wrong. We have all had a job in our lives in which we do screw up. Even if you are the higher ups, like the event planners, where they set up events, they are bound to screw up. And look, I know that nobody is perfect and stuff. I mean, I've had my fair share of fuck-ups when I was working behind the kitchen for 6.5 years as an event technician and a design specialist for a brief moment of my time, audiovisual tech, and then from being a setup prior to COVID-19. Like, we have all screwed up multiple times or like a couple times at the jobs that we had. Nobody is perfect. Like, I completely understand that. But I have nothing against the event planners, but seldom do they fuck up. And there was one time where one of them fucked up, and literally it made me feel like I was like a running headless chicken with blood still gushing out from where my head used to be planted on my body. It was basically like that. I mean, it was another early morning shift, and you know, things were getting a bit hectic. There was a big meeting going on, and so there was a request to basically get 12 yoga mats at the gym. And so I was told by my supervisor to do that. I take a golf cart, drive over onto the gym. So like, you know, the whole campus of like the hotel is mostly just like a lot of multiple buildings on either end prior to like the main building where I'm usually at and stationed at the conference center. So I drive over there and I said, hey, I got a request for 12 yoga mats that you guys saved for there. And so one of the guys at the front desk was like, oh, we're using them at a class right now. And I'm like, oh shit. And so I drive down back to my supervisor. I said, they don't have them. He's like, I don't care. Go back over there. And I'm like, oh shit. I go back over there and I'm like, hey, look, I understand that you're using the yoga mats. It was scheduled to be over there. And I'm just saying, can you bring some as of right now? Because I'm like in the back of my head going, my supervisor is gonna be pissed, and if I don't get those yoga mats, I'm gonna face the music. That was basically me during that time. I was scared. I was like, you know, hyperventilating and stuff. And then I get back over and, you know, my supervisor says, hey, do the other task and get the stuff at the supply station. And so I'm like, oh, okay. And so the supply station wasn't open yet. I get back over to tell the news, and he comes over to me saying, oh, they got the mats now. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Which I did say that, and he didn't take any offense. And I'm going, oh my God! Which explains, you know, my description of me running around like a headless chicken. And so I drive over back to the gym, finally get the yoga mats. And I bring them over, and so the guy that was like, hey, do you have any spray bottles? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And so, like, I said to my supervisor, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get a spray bottle for the yoga mats. He's like, what do you need? Spray bottles. And he's Bulgarian, by the way, so that explains the accent. And I'm going like, dude, like, you have to use spray bottles to spray down a yoga mat. That's basic yoga stuff. So I did what I could, found an empty bottle, filled it with water, and I brought it over. And then I brought some multiple towels. And that was it for that time. And I just have to say, when it comes to event planners, I have nothing against the event planners. They do fuck up, but I just have to really say this. Like, one minor flaw can make me run around like a fucking idiot, like a headless chicken, and it makes me look bad. It makes me look really bad. I feel like shit and stuff, and I just anxiety just goes up the fucking rails, and that is what I really dislike about that stuff. But hey, I understand that people do fuck up. We're not perfect in any way, shape, or form. Even like, you know, people who are really good in their craft, they sometimes fuck up. I understand. Nobody is perfect. But it's like, my God, try to work things out. Make it better for me so I don't look bad. When they serve breakfast for lunch at the mess hall, every time, you know, it's 11 or 12 o'clock, I go over to lunch, especially onto early morning or just like average morning shifts. I do my stuff and go over to lunch just to have a 30-minute lunch break just to chow down, chill for a bit, watching some YouTube videos, or just jam out to some music, just have my own little zen time. But what really crushes my vibe, and don't get me wrong, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I mean, I like to have my scrambled eggs with a splotch of sriracha sauce mixed in. Yes, I'm that kind of motherfucker that eats scrambled eggs with sriracha sauce.
Don't kink shame me, Damien!
But when it comes to breakfast that they have at the hotel, I just go, yes, I'm using Darth Vader again for this reference. It's just like, my God, my guy. And look, I like the scrambled eggs that I make at home, but when it comes to the eggs that they make, it's just all up in there, and you get like the watery stuff in the bottom. Like, just me thinking about it makes me want to puke. I just don't like the texture of the scrambled eggs and stuff. And then the breakfast sausages, you know, I'm a weird kind of guy, kind of like on how Punk Rock NBA described Dance Gavin Dance being the whittly type of guys, and he's not one of the whittly types of people.
I think of it kind of like cilantro. I personally love cilantro, but some people, I think like 30% of people or something, have a gene that to them makes cilantro taste like soap.
Just like on how people like their cilantro, and then there's people that don't like their cilantro. I'm one of those guys that don't like savory and sweet, alright? I don't like breakfast sausages that they serve, and I'm just like, oh my God, I have to just swallow it up because you have to have some of that nutrients and shit. Just take it all in. Just take it all in and stuff. But I do like the hash browns. I mean, the hash browns I can take. I can definitely take. If they have a particular soup that I like, I go for it. And so, I mean, I'm expecting couscous, some fried catfish, and even like chili dogs. I like that stuff. But when it's like fucking breakfast for lunch, I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh my God, I don't like their eggs. But it's just like, you just have to because the most important meal of the day. Suck it up, bitch. That is just, I know it's like a very petty thing of me to say, but I'm one of those guys, alright? I am one of those guys, okay? I just don't like, I mean, some people like breakfast for lunch. I am not one of those people that is breakfast for lunch. But you know what? You do you. I'm just not one of those guys. Customers who ask stupid questions. All of you know when you're working in the hospitality industry, there's gonna be people that are gonna ask some really dumb questions. And I mean, I've been asked like a couple of dumb questions by the old-timers who are like members of the hotel. And then you get like, you know, the boomers and the Karens who also ask for stupid questions, but also just the clients asking for stuff, which, I mean, I do my best to help them out. I do my best to, you know, direct them where to go and what stuff they need and stuff. And I sometimes play around with it saying like, oh, I forgot this. I wonder where it's at. Oh, there it is. I'm that kind of guy. I like to add a little bit of humor while helping out with some of the clients. But then you have the people that ask really basic, stupid questions when you're in the middle of trying to do a task when it's like, you know, when it's a very, very, very busy shift. But, you know, you can't just like focus on this one task and then leave this guy out there and stuff. You gotta assist, you gotta, you know, assist this person into what they want and stuff. But it's mostly like the really, really basic, stupid questions that I mostly get. And I had this one old guy comes to me going, hey, excuse me there, Sonny, but do you know where the bathrooms are at? And what I found so ridiculous about this guy is that he was asking me this question when the men's room was right behind him. And I just replied, you know, sir, that is a very good question you asked. It's right behind you. And then he looks over and goes, oh, oh, I didn't know about that. Thank you so much. And I'm like, oh, no problem, man. No problem. It's what I do. And I just go back, turn around, just going like, oh my God. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people that, are from out of state, out of the country who don't know where the restrooms are at. So it's like a basic question. And you got to direct them to where they're at. Like, where the conference center is at, where the main dining hall is at, where the bar is at. You got to let them know where to go. I completely understand that. But when it's like very basic questions, it's just like, oh my God. My God, my guy. Like, for real. And I'm pretty sure all of you guys who are watching this video have experienced, customers or guests that bring up stupid questions, very stupid and obvious questions, and you just are just like, oh my God. But you can't just like give out a very bad attitude. You gotta just swallow up your pride and just say, hey, this is where this is, this is where there's that. And it's just like, you just gotta get through, and it's like, ah. But yeah, I would get a couple of those very stupid questions, which was kind of funny, but also cringe at the same time. And now we are down over onto number 5. These are like the main ones that I find annoying. Coworkers who confuse me when I'm doing a task. And I cannot stress this enough. When I was working at this job, I would often have coworkers who I would be around and stuff and assist me into doing all these tasks. And this also brings me up on why I really disliked doing the early morning shift, because I'm still waking up, like my brain is just not there. I'm just like, my God, just let me get through this fucking early morning shift so I can leave at 2 and just go back to fucking bed, for Christ's sakes. And it's mostly when I have coworkers telling me this, telling me that, especially after my supervisor told me to do these specific things, and I'm still trying to wake up, and they tell me the stuff that they were told to do, and it's just like, my guy, stop confusing me. I know you've woke up, and I know that I'm still trying to wake up and stuff and trying to help out. You're supposed to help me out in doing these tasks and lifting these heavy shit like tables and like the dance floor, setting up the fucking dance floor every fucking Friday and shit for happy hour. Let me know. Like, let me try to figure out myself on what to go. And they're like, oh no, we have to get the dance floor over here. I'm like, no. I was told to get the, covers, the edges for the dance floor, not the fucking dance floor itself, my guy. And it's just like every time early morning shifts happen, I just have, 1 or 2 of my coworkers just completely confuse and irritate the shit out of me, and I just have to power it through and just be like, oh my God, just let me just process for a moment, just stop talking so I can actually process things together and just figure out what to do, because you are literally confusing me and making my mind more scrambled than it is right now. I'm still trying to wake up. I can't have you just constantly saying stuff because it's confusing me. It's confusing me, and it's gonna make me look more like an asshole. I'm taking the blame for it. Like, my God, that is what I hated working here. But you gotta, power through it, is what I said. And every time this happens, I'd be like, hey, you know what? At least you're not jobless and stuff. Just be thankful for that. That's what I always said to myself until the COVID hit. My God. Supervisor not giving me specific numbers for going to the supply station. Now, I have mentioned one of my supervisors who is a immigrant from Bulgaria. At the first few weeks, especially the early morning shifts, he would get onto my case because, look at me. I'm still trying to fucking wake up and stuff. And so it was what I called facing the music. But overall in time, we kind of grew to respect each other and stuff, and often joke around me screwing up and stuff. But the last time we saw each other was basically helping him out getting a giant ass fucking piano into his house. So, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen him since, but I'm hoping that he's doing well. But aside from all that, this was a minor grievance over onto my supervisor, especially when it came to supply to get packages for the clients, because usually when clients are hosting events, there is like a part into the supply station where we have like, you know, meats, wines, beers, liquor, food, snacks. You also get like, you know, supplies like toilet paper, shampoo, soap, but you also have a part of where you have the packages for the clients that they brought over for, you know, stuff to present onto their tables and stuff. So you get with what I'm trying to say over here, right? And so that was where to go, the supply station that is like next to the laundromat, the headquarters for housekeeping, the parking, which is like the parking garage, which was part of the contraption shit. But basically, he would give me a list of boxes to get, he would give me names, but not the specific numbers. And so I would say like there aren't any numbers, and it would usually one of the people who were behind onto supply, and I'd say, hey, I got this list of boxes, and they said, do they have any numbers, specific numbers? And I'm like, no, my supervisor did not tell me. And she goes, well, then I'm not helping you. You're gonna have to look at this ledger of all the notes, all the supplies coming in. And it's like you have to painstakingly get through this here and there, but it's also a fault of the event planners. It's also a fault of the event planners, which it makes, you know, my supervisor look bad, and it's, you know, their fault, and it makes my supervisor look bad, and it makes me look like, you know, an idiot not knowing what the fuck I'm doing. So it's like, my God, it makes it a lot more difficult for my job and stuff, and it makes it more difficult for his job and stuff. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, as I said before, for event planners, no one's perfect and stuff. I get that, but it's just like, come on. Try to make things a lot better. Try to make things a lot more efficient so that I can bring out these packages at a timely, orderly fashion and stuff. It's like, I mean, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. We all know we all bust our asses and stuff. It's just like, my God. Like, at least give me some numbers or a name for a specific client so that I can get the packages over to the events that are being hosted in whichever rooms there's like a meeting or a party or any of that stuff. It's like, try to make things a little bit more easier. It's like, if I'm somehow gonna get back into working at this job, which I highly fucking doubt I'm ever gonna be back working here because dumbasses be dumbasses, it's gonna be a while. Dragging the chair carts or chair stacks. Now, my God, when I'm talking about, you know, chair carts, like usually you're thinking of like, you know, with a dolly where you just go under the stack of chairs that are like up to here, lift them up. That's not a biggie whatsoever. But I'm talking about these chair carts that are made. It's like a rectangular cart, and you put in folded chairs, a shit ton of them, in that cart. And honestly, I fucking dreaded moving those, because I explained earlier, the whole campus of the hotel, there's the main building, and then you have the golf club over in the back. You have these other buildings of like where you chill in your hotel rooms. Then you had the surf club, the gym, the pool overlooking at the beach, the tennis courts, and the conference center, all that stuff. And so I would have, if we were going to the surf club to get all the folded chair carts, you literally had to like walk with those stacks of chairs. But yeah, you would take these carts of chairs and literally just had to walk with those over onto where the parking garage is at. And there's like a specific area in the parking garage where you put all those chairs at and put like a tarp over it. And I hated doing those, especially under the summer heat. I dreaded it. I dreaded it so fucking much.
I'm fucked.
I just, you know me, I've lived in the state of Florida for all my life. I still cannot handle the fucking Florida heat. But when it was winter, it was good. Even though it was like cold, blistering winds at times, I was vibing onto it because like when I was working in these conditions, like I was sweating over my undercoat. I was like, oh yes, get that steam out there, boy. But my God, I hate it. Like at first, most of me and like my coworkers would take most of the carts and just drive them off. But when I was doing my orientation, the guy that was presenting the orientation was like, don't do that with those carts of chairs. I'm like, oh God, I did those. Like, yes, I'm watching you. I know what you do. I'm like, shit. And so, yeah, that sucked. I mean, it was a lot more easier, but like moving those by myself, it was just, my God, I fucking hate it. But when I had one of my coworkers help me out, it made things a little bit better. But it was just like, my God, it was like a workout in itself. Now, that was the only benefit because I would actually get my steps in and work out and stuff. That I liked, but it was just, in the Florida heat, fuck that shit.
Yo, killing me with this.
Now this is one of the second of the two things that annoy me the most when it came to working at this hotel. And this is one of the big ones. And it is clients that take way too long to wrap up their meetings. And when I mean take too long, I mean they take way too fucking long. And that is one of two things annoy me the most while working, especially when it was like a very, very busy fucking day. When it came to clients doing their meetings, like when it was a specific scheduled time to be like, hey, we're gonna go in and wrap things up, take all the notepads, pens, coasters for the glasses, the pitchers, and then all the candy jars and bring them over into the shed where we put all that stuff in. And it's like, you're just hogging up everything. And I know it sounds like a little bit petty at times. It's like, for me, for instance, it's just like, it's almost the end of my shifts. And especially, pre-corona time, usually Tuesday and Thursday evenings, I would head over to this park where I would do my boot camp workout. And so I was expecting to do that after long, hard days of work. But then it's just like I have this meeting I have to wrap up, and most of the time, they're taking way too long to wrap up. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. When it comes to these meetings, like obviously you're finished up and it's like, is there any more questions before we wrap things up? Like, I understand that. Like, it's two things of like, when they either take so fucking long to get to the point, or it's like they hog things further and just screw and fuck around when we're outside looking like, a bunch of lazy douche noggles, saying like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm waiting for this meeting to end. It's like, oh, try to be all busy around stuff. Which, I mean, yeah, I would be doing a lot of stuff to keep me preoccupied for other events, but it's like most of the time, the other events are done. And this is all I got going on for me. So I'm just waiting. I'm just fucking waiting and stuff. And I mean, I could say this with like the other people, not just the setup crew, which was my department, but also my coworkers who were part in serving the banquets to the meetings. Like, they got stuff to go on in their personal lives, come home, eat dinner, most of them pick up their kids, go to the gym, work out. They got plans. I mean, they have a life outside of this. But I definitely get it. I definitely get it. You're part of the hospitality industry. You have to stick around until this meeting is over, but it's like, my God, my guy, get to the fucking point. For the love of God! Wrap things up so that we can wrap things up on our end, clock out, call it a night and stuff. That's all we are fucking asking, my guys. For those that are like, saying, hey, I have some few questions, I'm all for that. But when you take so fucking long, it's like, I could be doing my workout, and yet I'm not. And there was one time, I was with one of my coworkers just sitting, while this meeting was still going on, like 10 to 20 minutes, you know, prior to its confirmed ending, scheduled end time, and it's just like, my God, what the fuck are they talking about? But then they were like, hey, you can just come on in. I'm just like, all this to waste my time. It was just, oh my fucking God, it was unbearable. But nothing, and I mean nothing, it does not compare to the number one thing that annoyed me while working at the hotel. And oh my God. And now we reach the final portion of my top 10 list of things that annoy me while working at a hotel. This can go with a lot of departments. This can go with a lot of people when it comes to every single job field. If it's a job you like and you genuinely love what you're doing, it's like, yeah, I have finally found my niche in life. I would like to continue to do this until I find something even better along the line, and then bring out my 2-week notice and be like, yeah, I'm gonna move on to greener pastures. Working at a job that you like, it's like, yes, I made it. I have a good paying job that can keep me afloat, and it's just like, yes, I got it made. But a really good job can be shitty when it's a shitty boss that makes everything crumble. And I think all of you guys know what I'm talking about. But for my case, it's not a shitty boss. To me, it's a shitty coworker that makes everything crumble. And I mean, all of you guys have had your experiences with shitty bosses and shitty coworkers, and let me tell you, I can feel your pain as well. When it comes to those shitty people in your life, it can make a great job experience an unbearable burden. An unbearable fucking burden. And it is the worst. And for me, when I started working at that hotel in the first few weeks, it was like, this is good. This is really good. I'm getting the niche of things. Everything's going good. Everything's going fantastic. It's like a fresh new beginning. I'm not in rock bottom anymore. It's like, yeah, I got this. I'm gonna turn my life around. And then he came around.
Then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
It's like it was like early October or something, and he was a new guy that came in, but he was a transfer from another department, probably like landscape or security. And oh boy, I mean, it was like, yeah, we got some more people to help us out, but at the first shift I worked with him, I just knew for certain that this guy was going to be a pain in the fucking ass. And this dude, I fucking swear, this guy was peak boomer. This guy was absolute peak boomer. I'm talking about, like, this dude had pot belly, walked funny due to an injury that he had, and his voice, oh, I think his voice was the worst. It was like scratching nails on a chalkboard in my point of view. And it sounded a bit like this. It was like, oh, having to deal with that every single shift. And it's like, when I go through the upcoming next week's schedule to see who I'm gonna be with for the certain days, and if it was shifts where I had to have him, I'm using Darth Vader again for this one. That was me in my mind. But I knew, I'm like, you know what? Suck it up, Buttercup. Take it with pride and go through this fucking shift and face the music, dealing with this very annoying coworker. Like, my God. And there was like early 2020, like right after seeing Vader live down in Orlando, and then I worked for like 8 to 9 days up until I had to go back down to Orlando for the best damn race. And my God, I just don't know how I did it. Like, I had all of those shifts with this guy, and due to me like working almost daily, as well as like using those shifts for me to train for the race, and having to deal with him, I felt like I was going insane having to deal with this guy with every single shift. Now, like, I know it sounds like he was like the most crazy, like the most irritable person. It's like this dude, basically his it's like those people whose mere presence and their look just makes you just really hate them. And like, this is coming from me. I'm like a very nice dude. If I like you, like, I will like you forever. But when it's like you rub me the wrong way for the most random of reasons, it's just like, my God, I don't want to see you again. First impressions, sometimes when it comes to first impressions of people, it's like, my God. But when it came to this guy, it was the boomer equivalent of me back in middle and high school. To those of you who grew up with me in middle and high school, knew that I was an annoying and insufferable fuck until I did a little thing called, oh yeah, growing the fuck up. And I'm still trying to grow the fuck up throughout my journey in life. That's just how it is. But when it comes to those people, it's like you kind of see yourself a bit, and it's just like, my God, no wonder that everyone thought I was an insufferable fuck. And it's like, I see myself in that individual. As I said before, you can have a great job or like an average job, but it's not much honest work. And then it all gets destroyed when it comes to a very annoying and also shitty boss and coworker. Those types of people will automatically destroy your good experience when it comes to any job field. Any sort of job field. And reckon, I mean, that's pretty much how some of the coworkers felt when I was at my design specialist job. I mean, like, this was stuff that I wasn't that good enough, and they just thought I was an insufferable asshole and stuff. Because it's like, it was not my niche. It was definitely not my niche. And it's like, wow, I feel the same way over to this coworker that I had going on pre-COVID-19 and stuff. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, the hospitality industry is already fucked as it is. Who knows when I will be getting the call to be like, hey, you can come back in, which I highly fucking doubt I will ever come back. I will ever fucking come back into working here. I'm obviously looking for alternatives and stuff when it comes to trying to find alternatives. I've taken the Repsion route, and I'm planning on going back to school for welding. Yeah, I'm doing the Repsion route, so I'm not trying to be like Repsion. I'm just trying to find other alternatives for me to actually, I don't know, make an honest living for myself throughout these trying times and shit, as well as like finding other opportunities. I know my older brother has helped me out in looking for some new jobs as well, but who knows? Only time can tell. Only time can tell throughout these troubling times. But yeah, that is all I have to say. This pandemic is sort of a blessing as well as a curse. I mean, I don't have to deal with this coworker until it's like, yeah, you can come back to working for us. Or, it's a curse of being like, oh, I can't go back to work because dumbasses be dumbasses. So it's like a hit and miss kind of thing. But, yep, that is all I got to say about number one on my top 10 things that annoy me when I was working at a hotel pre-COVID-19. So, what do you guys think about this video topic? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Could you relate to some of the things that I listed that annoyed me to heart? Do you experience a crazy-ass coworker yourself? Are there any stuff that annoy you? Do you have your own top 10 list of things that annoy you at your job? Please let me know in the comments below, and stay tuned for more videos. Without further ado, ladies and gents, I am Atticus the Death Metaler. Hope you like this video, subscribe to my channel, links are down in the description below. Keep it metal, and have an excellent and blessed day, y'all. Cheers.
catastrophe.